perfectly fine. But to begin with, keep your back and the head straight. Okay. Now, slowly take your focus onto top of your head. Now, I'd like you to take your focus back down to the back, lower back, and slowly bring the focus up onto the top of the head. Imagine energies traveling from your lower back to the top of the head. This is what the Kundalini energy pathway, and this is how the Kundalini energies get awakened from your lower back to the top of the head through all the chakras. It may be difficult to imagine, but when you're doing your pranayama and meditation, this is an automatic process, so without your involvement. So do it again. Bring your attention to your lower back and imagine energy is going from your lower back to the top of your head. And we'll do one more last time. Attention to your lower back, slowly to the top of your head. Now bring your attention to between your eyes, where you typically apply the bindi. Now slowly observe your breath. Just focus on your breath. You don't have to do anything else. Many people struggle to understand what does focus on breath mean. It just means simply being aware of your own breath. Some people find it easier to focus at the tip of the nose where they can feel the breath going in and coming out. And some people find focusing on the chest rising and falling down, or the tummy going up when you breathe in and coming down when you breathe out. People who struggle with these three, there is another simple solution I thought of. Just focus. Are you actually breathing, taking the breath in? Or are you giving the breath away? That's how easy it is to focus. Just pay attention. At this moment, are you taking a breath in? Or are you taking the breath out? That is what helps you focus on your breath. Okay? Just take a few deep breaths in and out at your own pace, and easy breaths. It doesn't have to be too intense. And then we'll move to pranayama. Okay? Now breathe in, breathe out. This has to be deep breaths in and out. Okay? And then I would be saying so, breathe in, hum, breathe out. So, hum. 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 Now just move to stage 2. We'd be moving to stage 2 now. People who are not comfortable moving to stage 2 can stay in stage 1, but I would encourage you to move to stage 2. So breathe in, breathe out. So hum, 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 so hum. Now we'll be moving to stage 3. People who can't move to stage 3 can stay in stage 2, but I would actively encourage you to move to stage 3, please. Who haven't got any medical condition, please try this, stage 3, okay? Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So hum, 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 so hum. Now slowly relax. Get to your normal breathing pattern. This is the time to experience what's happening in your body. Pay attention to what's happening in your body. You might feel lightheaded, that's absolutely fine. You might feel tingling sensation, that's absolutely fine too. And if you don't feel anything, that is normal too. Not everybody gets the feeling and sensation, but if you are, just observe what's happening with your body. Just experience your body. In a moment, we will be going to the second cycle. So get ready to go into stage 1 again. So hum, 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 so hum. Get ready to get into stage 2 now. So hum, 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 so hum. Now get ready to move to stage 3. So hum, 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 so hum. Just relax and just come back to your normal breathing pattern and just experience what's happening with your body. You can breathe at your normal rate. Just experience the increased energy levels, your chakras getting activated, and the feeling of bliss. If you don't feel any of this, that is absolutely fine too. Now we'll move to the final round. Get ready to go to stage 1. So hum, 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 so hum. Now get ready to get into stage 2. So hum, 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 so hum. Now get ready to go into stage 3. So hum, 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 so hum. Now come back to your normal breathing pattern. Just sit back and relax. Just experience the energy levels in your body, the rising of your Kundalini energies, the feeling of the bliss. Do not let thoughts disturb this state. Now bring your focus back onto your breath. Just your normal breath. Pay attention whether you're taking the breath in or the breath going out. You can also focus on your chest going up and down, or the stomach going up and down. Stay focused on your breath. This is your moment. Do not let any thoughts disturb you. It is the nature of the mind to get distracted. With all the gadgets, with the busy lifestyle, we train ourselves to get distracted. But during meditation, we're going to do completely opposite. We're not going to let any distraction ruin our moment. Just stay focused on your breath. If you're getting any thoughts, let them come and go away. The best way to ignore thoughts is to bring your focus back onto your breath. Every time you bring your focus back onto your breath, you're training your brain just like the muscle when you lift the weights. Every time you bring your mind back to your breath, you're increasing your mind's strength not to get distracted. And this continuous training will help you have a thoughtless state of mind. And in this thoughtless state of mind, you realize who you are. And that is exactly the way for self-realization, realizing who you really are. You're not the body, you're not the mind, you're the deep soul within, which is exactly same as everyone on this earth, irrespective of your religion, race. We all have the same supreme energy within us. We all have that God within us. When you have this thoughtless states of mind, you realize that we are all connected with the same supreme energy. Stay focused on your breath. You are much stronger than your mind. Slowly but steadily, you will have control over your mind. Don't fight it. It will happen automatically. Just let the thoughts come and go away. Just keep the focus on your breath. Pay attention to whether you're breathing in or breathing out. Bring a smile on your face. Keep that smile. Experience the bliss within. Relax your face muscles and smile. You are doing a great job. Carry on. Just keep smiling and pay attention to your breath going in and coming out. I'll go silent to to allow you to experience this meditative state. Experience the beautiful bliss. Keep smiling. Don't let the thoughts ruin your moment. Stay focused on your breath. Pay attention to the breath going in and coming out. Experience the divine bliss within. Bring the smile on your face. Do not let any thoughts distract you. You're doing a great job. You're regaining control of your mind. You're going deeper and deeper into a meditative state. Further deeper and deeper into the meditative state to experience the bliss and the divine within. We are all part of the same supreme energy. The divine force within us is the same. We are all connected and one. Experience a lot of energy coming into your body. In this deep meditative state. And now is a good time to make a wish. Make a wish for the well-being of everyone on this planet. Including the humans, the animals, the plants, the insects, every living thing. Pray for everybody's joy, everybody's bliss, everybody's self-realization. In this meditative state, you're having self-realization. You're identifying with who you really are. You're not the body, you're not the profession, but this calm, composed state of the soul, the blissful soul. This is the real you. Spend some time experiencing the real you within. Devoid of any sensation from your body. Just being self-aware, the awareness which is watching the breath. This is also the time to manifest any wishes you have. You should make a wish now. I'll give you a moment to make a wish. Make sure it's not just centered around you. You could do so if you wish to, but this is the time to be selfless. I'll give you a moment to make a wish now. Now is a good time to express gratitude for all the good things in your life. We are over-focused on what we do not have. We easily forget what we have because we have achieved them over a period of time. We take them for granted. Imagine 20, 30 years back, you would probably wish the exact life you are living now. But at this moment, many of us may not be content. The reason being we don't count our happiness, we count our sorrows, or what we don't have. So think of everything you have. A roof to live in, the good food to eat, the family, a lovely family you have, the kids, the profession if you're in, or the simple things which bring joy in your life. Please take a moment to pay your gratitude to the God. If you have a family God, take their name and thank them. Thank your parents. Thank your siblings and the extended family members. Also thank the friends and the colleagues. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Ignore any thoughts. Ignore any sensations in your body. Just pay attention to your breath. You are that awareness which is paying attention to your breath, the consciousness. Few more moments until we finish the meditation. So make the most. Some of you may have experienced who you are for a few minutes, some of you for a few seconds. That's absolutely fine. Time is irrelevant. Your attempt at self-realization is very important. Some people may take a few weeks, some people may take a few months. That's absolutely fine. Do not fight. Do not get disappointed. Even if you sit for an hour and are able to experience who you really are for a moment, that is worth it. So when you're ready, please bring your awareness back to your body. Experience the rise and fall of your chest or the rise and fall of your tummy. Now, slowly, when you're ready, put your hands on your eyes and in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you can open your eyes now. Just be self-aware of your body now, even with your eyes open. Really well done to all of you for making through this pranayama and meditative session. Don't go just yet because we still have some knowledge sharing session to go on to. If anybody would like to share their experiences, this would be the time. If you want to type it, that's absolutely fine as well. I can answer that. Or if you want to speak, please unmute yourself.
Good morning, Dr. Dheeraj Garu. This is Krishnaveni from Birmingham.
Hi, Krishnaveni.
Thank you, Annie. Hi. Actually, I heard about the breathing process, one of the other techniques, which we had to breathe in through the nose and breathe out with the mouth. And the other technique which you told about, like inhale and exhale through the mouth. Which one is effective and why do you think? Please let us know.
Okay. So when you're breathing in and out, either through your nose or your mouth, you're going to have the benefit. There is no one superior over the other, but the usual traditional practice is to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose. But as I said, if somebody has difficulty in, if their nose is blocked, they can't be breathing in and breathing out through the nose. They'll have to rely on their mouth. So either of the techniques is absolutely fine. Slowly, the idea is to, from the scientific point of view, either you breathe through your nose or breathe through your mouth. Your oxygen saturations will increase, your carbon dioxide levels will go down, and this will help your brain to become much more calmer, because when the carbon dioxide levels go down in your blood, it's called hypocapnia. Hypo means low, capnia means carbon dioxide. So that helps our frontal cortex, which is the front part of the brain, to become more relaxed. This is what fires so many thoughts in our brain. So either way, it is okay.
Thank you so much for the clarification, Andy. Thank you so much.
Sure.
And we had a wonderful session. Thank you.
Yeah. Don't just go away yet, because we're going to move on to the knowledge session. Sure. Anybody else has any questions or would like to share any experience? Okay, I don't see any questions. So we'll be moving to the knowledge sharing sessions. We've had quite a few new members joined recently. So I did give a presentation to the previous group who were part of the 41-day meditation program. I would be using the similar slides to share that knowledge, and also for those who have already attended, this may be a opportunity to reflect back on what we have already gone through, and reinforcement learning, really, because if you go through the session again, you tend to remember things better, and your way of understanding things tend to be better. Just like when you watch a movie over and over again, you pay attention to minute details, and then you realize, oh my God, I didn't pay attention to that. So it's all about attention to detail, which transforms everybody's lives. So for apologies for people who have already gone through these slides, but take an opportunity. I'll try and talk about more about the topic again. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Okay, can everybody see my slides now? Somebody just give me a shout if you can see it.
Yes, Sandy.
Oh, great, fine. So I've just titled this talk as Dharma, the paths to self-realization and moksha. These are big names, you know. What does this title mean actually? What does Dharma mean? Dharma is the righteous path, the path which is based on spiritual guidance. That is what Dharma is. And what does Dharma help with? It's just how guides you to the path of self-realization. So today we did, pranayama and meditation. These are all part of the Dharma, and we'll come to the other aspects of Dharma which actually help us attain moksha. So as we all know, moksha means liberation. So what we're talking about liberation is, we know that life is a cycle. When we refer to scriptures, we talk about life, death, life again, death again. So it's like a cycle. So we are running on this wheel like a hamster. And how do we come out of it? We're just living, enjoying, living, dying, again, taking birth. How do we liberate ourselves? And that inquisitiveness would lead us to try and seek more knowledge about what's life all about. We probably all have those questions, and we all have those questions at one point or the other stage of our life. And usually when we are in our, the term called midlife crisis is something very relevant, because we go through a lot in our lives, our happy moments, our sad moments, our difficulties. Many of us might have given up at some point. Many of us might have picked up ourselves. And then when we are at a stage where we realize, what is this life all about? Why should we have these difficulties? Why can't we have an easy life? It's really difficult. What is this karma? So this is where the knowledge from Dharma, based on the scriptures of the Vedas, or the Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of most of the Vedas, you tend to realize what you are, the path of self-realization. Yeah. So when you were meditating, you were devoid of any thoughts for at least a fraction, even for a few seconds, if it was That is the time when you were not aware of your body. You were not aware of any thoughts. You were just being yourself. You were just experiencing yourself. That is the real you. And that is what meditation tends to help with. Now, there are other things, aspects of the dharma, which comes with knowledge sharing, trying to learn from. I've learned from everybody, many of them. The good things, even the bad things teach you. There is always a bad experience, but there is always a learning from it. And we need to be much more resilient in the sense that, yes, when we have a happy moment, it's good to be happy, but we shouldn't get obsessed with that happiness and then focus on the source of happiness to be that object, the materialistic thing. And the same way, when we have sorrow, it's okay if we have a difficult situation, but when you are very self-aware of yourself, you are more important. Your emotional well-being is much more important. So you should just accept that, okay, there is this bad thing which is happening in my life, well and fine. I wouldn't react, just like I didn't overwhelmingly react to a happy situation. I wouldn't overwhelmingly react to the negative situation. It's not easy, but slowly and steadily it is possible. So let's move on to the next slide. So for those who haven't seen my slides before, I'd like you to take a moment just to observe this slide. Just observe it without any thought. And then I'll come back and talk about why this slide is relevant. So people who have attended my previous class, let's see how much of the class you remember. Just go through your minds as to why this picture was relevant and what each and every aspect in this picture meant. Let's move to the next slide. So this is an analogy used in Rathakalpana, chapter 3. It's from the Katha Upanishad. So there they have used the chariot and the people within the chariot to describe the whole idea about who we are and what's happening to us and why it's happening to us. So just take a moment to look at this slide. You can see that the chariot itself is the body. They refer the chariot as our body. The passenger within the chariot, that is the person within our body, is the soul. The charioteer, the person who's driving the chariot, is intellect. I'll come to the definition of intellect in a moment. And then the reins which the intellect is holding is the mind. And then the mind is controlling the 5 senses we have: the sight, the hearing, the taste, the touch, and the smell. So coming to, we know the body. We know that we have the soul. Now, we know we have got a mind. What is intellect? Is intellect same as intelligence, or are they two different things? The easier to talk about is intelligence. Intelligence is somebody being very clever. It doesn't necessarily mean somebody who's educated. Education doesn't necessarily give intelligence. It's fact. Intelligence is beyond memory. So people who do really well in their education and profession and stuff, they are very intelligent, like the scientists, the well-performing doctors, the well-performing engineers, the fantastic housewife who managed their houses brilliantly. They're all intelligent. Now, what is intellect then? What does intellect define? What is the difference between intellect and intelligence? Intellect is kind of your intuition within, which guides you. It's like a moral compass. It advises you what is the right thing to do, what is the wrong thing to do. Sometimes when you crave for something, it is your intellect which is driving it. So it is really important aspect of you, the intellect. The intellect is what defines who you are, what your soul's journey is. So let's take a moment to understand it better. So for people who have attended the last lecture, we didn't talk in detail about intellect this much, so I'll go through it. Now, I was thinking, how am I going to use a simple example to make you understand the difference between intelligence and intellect? And then I bumped into an easy example. Hitler. Hitler was a very intelligent person. He knew how to achieve his objectives. But did he have the right intellect? So he was intelligent, but he did not have the right intellect. In the same way, if we define Krishna or any god, you can think of your family god or from any religion, they are intelligent and they have a great intellect as well. Of course, they are much beyond the intellect, but when they take the human form, they demonstrate intellect. The real supreme God is the ever-eternal consciousness. It's undefinable. People ask questions around what is our soul, how can we define? So when we take away all our preconceived ideas, what is left is you. What is left is soul. What is left is consciousness. Michelangelo, the sculptor from Italy, fantastic sculpture, one of the world's best sculptures. He was asked a question. And the same with any of the sculptures across the world. How do you make such beautiful sculptures? How do you make such wonderful sculptures? This answer was really very insightful. He just says, I have a vision of what I want to achieve. And all I do is take away the waste, take away which is not my vision. And there lies the statue. He chips away all the unwanted stone, just like the sculpture, the marvelous temples you see back home in India. All they do is, it's a piece of stone to begin with. They take away which is unwanted, and what is left is a beautiful sculpture. And in the same way, when you take away all the preconceived notion, I am the body. No, you're not the body. Take away that. So what are you then? So that is the way to try and understand. Am I this? Am I that? Am I this? What's happening? So the constant reflection is what will help you become self-aware and self-realize. And that is exactly what happens during the meditation session as well. You are devoid of the senses from your body. You are devoid of the senses from the thought. You're not being judgmental because you're allowing the thought to come and go away. Even if it is about your rival, the thought is coming, but you're not developing hatred in your mind and allowing it to go away. You're just an observer. Even if the thought of your loved one comes in, you are not getting involved, you're letting it go. So that is what being detached, and that is how you self-realize. Coming back to intellect. So we had a good example that Hitler was, yes, he was intelligent, but he lacked intellect. And it is intellect which led to his death. So could be Saddam Hussein or anybody. Now, we'll take another positive example. Those were the negative examples. The relatable examples in real life we'll talk about rather than the spiritual ones. Spiritual ones, you know that Krishna or any of the avatara in the human form or the Rama, they all had great intelligence and intellect. And a real life person, people example, you could say Gandhi. He was intelligent and he had a great intellect. Mother Teresa, great intelligence, great intellect. So that is what defines intellect. It's not just being intelligent, but with the right purpose. And what helps you develop your intellect is the path to dharma. It's the knowledge which comes from our Vedas. Thousands of years back, it was available. We tend to have lost touch with it, but we are rediscovering. So no harm done. We and our future generations will benefit from this. So what we are trying to aim and achieve at this moment is redefine our intellect for self-realization and to attain moksha through the path of dharma. So that is why we all are here, my friends. That is what we are here for. So how does this intellect feed on? Like, it's the mind, it's the craving, like there is a cake there. If you don't have intellect, if you let your intellect drive you in the negative direction, you will just jump in and eat the cake. But if you're very self-aware, you will know that, okay, this may be the right time to eat it, or maybe not, or maybe eat in moderation. So when you're talking to yourself and you're being self-aware, you're actually training your intellect. So that's why some of you may recollect that when in our last class, when I advised that be self-aware of what you're doing through the things, like even if you're serving a cup of coffee, be self-aware. Even if you're eating a fruit, just observe the fruit. We take it for granted. Just peel it, dump it, forget it. Try and do things differently, and then you will become much more aware of the things, and it'll help you slow down, calm down as well. Peel an orange, observe an orange, then just enjoy every bite of that orange. Even if it is a meal, do that. If you're walking your regular path, most of us drive just automatically back home or to work. Just become self-aware of the surroundings. That way, you're much more safer as well. So it's being very self-aware that helps train your intellect. Observe what is right, what is wrong. And that is what controls your mind. And when your mind is controlled, you have control over your five senses: your sight, your hearing, your taste, your touch, and the smell. There's lots of things you can try and taste, like, I won't go into the ethics of vegetarianism and non-vegetarianism. I would leave it for your intellect. I'm not here to lecture what is right, but from animal cruelty point of view, we all know vegetarianism is good. We all know from a spiritual point of view, vegetarianism is good. Does that mean non-vegetarians are bad? No, not necessarily. That's not for us to have a judgment. That's for them to reflect on and allow their intellect to decide. Okay, so the reason I was referring to the vegetarian, non-vegetarian is coming to taste. The reason the drive for non-vegetarianism is based on the conception that it is much more tastier, much more proteinaceous or anything, but there are alternatives. Some of the nicest vegetarian meals are tastier. So what you feed yourself defines you. That is the point I'm trying to make. So if you have control over a healthy, conscious diet, that would define you down the line. What you hear will define you. Just playing a bhajan on your phone. Like I play bhajan many of times. Could be any mantra, could be Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Or Om Sai Ram, or whatever religion you come from, or whatever, if you're Christian, pray for Jesus. If you're Muslim, pray for Allah. That's the path. So what you hear is the bhajan. When you do kirtan, bhajan, I'll refer it much more deeper on our next slide. But while we are here talking about hearing, what you hear is what you become. What you eat is what you become. What you see is what you become. So that's why stop seeing negativity around you all the time. Try and see positivity around you. And then that will give you immense positivity within and helps you thrive. The same with the sensation of what you touch for, and what you smell. Okay? So the body, remember the analogy from the previous slide? The body is the chariot. The passenger within the chariot is the soul. The charioteer is the intellect. And the reins is the mind. And the 5 horses is the 5 senses. Now, people think, why am I suffering? Why should I have the suffering, whereas some else don't? There are 2 reasons to it. One is the karma being action or the effects of your action. It could be 3 different types of karma. I wouldn't go too much into detail, but while I'm mentioning karma, I'll just mention. One is sukarma, which is good karma, like you're helping somebody, you're offering foods, you're offering encouragement, you're sharing positive knowledge. That's good karma. Vikarma, which is negative karma, like you're causing suffering to somebody else. It is vikarma. Akarma. That is interesting new concept which the Bhagavad Gita explores. Akarma. What does akarma means? It's neither good karma nor bad karma. So in cycle of life and death, when you do good karma, in your next birth, you get the benefits of it. When you do bad karma, you get the bad benefits of it. The akarma is the path of dharma, the path of bhakti, the path of meditation. These are all, they don't have the karmic effects. They are releasing you from the path of karma, the cycle of life and death. And that is what akarma is. Okay, so why we suffer or experience suffer? You can have a situation, the same situation, different people will react differently. And why is that? Some people tend to thrive on difficulties because they try and find solutions for those difficulties and feel happy about achieving it, or at least feel happy about giving their best to it. Whereas some others might just sulk up and say, oh, this is bad, I can't do anything about it. So it's the klesha. Klesha is called the negative state of the mind, which causes all this. And why does that happen? That happens because avidya, which is lack of knowledge, which is ignorance. Asmita, which is our ego. How could this happen to me? So we become egoistic. And then raga, which is attachment. We get attached to so many materialistic things in our life that we forget the greater purpose of our life, and the dvesha, the hatred for others. When you realize that it's the same soul within every human being, the idea of hatred shouldn't be there. It is okay as a human, you get negative emotions, negative feelings, but then being self-aware that you are in a negative situation and that it is driving some negative emotions within you should make you also self-aware that this does not define me. Any external situation does not define me. So how you react to the situation is in your hand. And abhinivesha, which is clinging to life, and the fear of death, obviously. So these are the things why we suffer more often. And there's another thing I wanted to mention about, and what prevents us from trying to get over this is the 6 enemies of the mind. Shad Ripu. Shad means 6 and Ripu is the enemy. And that we all would have heard about kama, the lust, not necessarily of sexual nature, but the lust for anything, lust for money, lust for anything I want, being that obsession, I want this. That is kama. And the krodha, the anger, lobha, the greed, moha, the illusion of that, oh, this is the real world, the maya, which we call about. We are so disillusioned about materialistic things in life and forget about who we really are. Mada, the pride, the matsarya, the envy. So all have, there is a reason. There are some, the krodha, for example, we need krodha when we need to survive. We are fighting an enemy, we need krodha. So krodha for the right purpose is okay, but not with anything. But what defines the right purpose for krodha is dependent on your intellect, not your intelligence. Your intellect should define what is the right reason for krodha. And the more you feed good thoughts, good vibes to your intellect, it becomes your guide, your intuition, your self-conscious. When you're doing something wrong, you get that internal voice. Hey, hang on, step back, just breathe, take 10 seconds. Should you be doing that? No, move away. So that's what intellect does. Now yes, we know the dharma. What does path of dharma advises you? It gives you 4 different paths to follow. Any of the path is absolutely fine. So there is Bhakti Yoga. It's the path of devotion to your God. And it removes the negative feelings in your minds like lust, anger, pride, ego, jealousy, arrogance. And it replaces all of them with joy, divine ecstasy, bliss, peace, and wisdom. You may have heard about good examples of Bhakti Yoga, like Mirabai. That defines Bhakti Yoga. And some of the organizations based around Bhakti Yoga are, for example, the Krishna Consciousness, the ISKCON Society. They are predominantly based around Bhakti Yoga, the path of spiritual bhakti. Yeah. So that is Bhakti Yoga for you. And coming to Karma Yoga, performing the right action or based on your spiritual guidance, which is what Dharma is all about, without the attachments to outcome. You do your karma, nishkam karma, that's what it's called, which means you don't have an expectation of what you do. You serve without the craving for the benefits out of that. So if you are somebody who serves food in a restaurant, if you're doing it with the right intention, not expecting any tip, you're not doing good service in expectation of tip, that is not nishkam karma. But if you're doing the right job without expecting any outcome, that is nishkam karma. Okay? And then when you do that nishkam karma, that is what brings in you pure love, humility, humanity, tolerance, compassion. And we all know great examples of great saints who came to our world, who did this, and service. And another example, Gandhi, or you can take Mother Teresa. She just did her service without expecting anything back. And it derived love, sympathy, not just in herself, but people around her. And then there is the path of Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is gaining wisdom, gaining knowledge. How do you get knowledge? The easier form to gain knowledge is satsang, which is you place yourself with the right people, just like we are part of this wonderful group. So you place yourself there, and then when people speak, share their knowledge, it automatically comes in. Just be an observer. You don't have to soak in everything everybody says. Just observe. Let your intellect drive you through this journey. Someone might say this is the right path. Someone might say this is the right path. It may be contradictory. It may be confusing. It's fine. When you accept that you don't have to be perfect, all the stress goes away. So just listen, observe, be that observer. Listen to the knowledge, and then decide let your intellect guide you through the process. Okay, the path of wisdom, it's about self-inquiry. You read, you attend satsang, you read the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita or Vedantam or any of the books, Vedanta Darshan, or any of those books. It helps you discriminate what is real, what is not real. Usually you tend to need a guide when you're reading a book, because sometimes you can interpret the same sentence in different ways. And which is where, when you have a guru, it tends to help. Somebody who can guide you through the process. It does help. And the other form is Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga it's a wider area, which involves like meditation, what we did, the pranayama, the mantra, the japa, and all those. Like you see sadhus, rishi munis meditating in Himalayas and having different practices throughout Raja Yoga, like the Naga sadhus. So they all are part of the Raja Yoga. Now, the Raja Yoga helps us to define it helps us in self-realization, in the way that your body and the mind can be still. And then it helps the path of self-realization. It is not an easy path. You will see the benefits of meditation straight away, but having to go into the deeper states of meditative state over prolonged periods of time, it takes a lot of intense practice over years. Nobody calls themselves guru in Raja Yoga. It's not easy path. And it's described in Bhagavad Gita when in Kurukshetra, Arjuna can't, he feels guilty about fighting this war, and he wants to just go and just do some realization. He asks Krishna, what is the path? He says, oh, here you go. You have this Raja Yoga path, which is fantastic. You can do this. But to do this requires rigorous practice and everything over a period of long periods of time. Then Arjuna says, oh, it's really difficult for my mind to focus and do that. Then he says, here is another path, the Bhakti Yoga. So which you do, you chant, you just feel blissful, praying, lighting a lamp, lighting an incense stick. Could be any of your gods or even Krishna. You just pray and leave everything. You just surrender. That is Bhakti Yoga. So he says that's the easiest thing to do among all. So you can do that too. So there is no right or wrong path. There is people, or you can just do every aspect of this Bhakti Yoga. You can wake up first thing in the morning, light a lamp, just say a prayer. You don't have to be ritualistic. You don't have to light a lamp or an incense stick. But if that helps you connect with the God, experience divinity, do so. People say, oh, why Murti Puja? When God is eternal and everywhere and within us. Imagine just a tape recorder being played in the class. If I would do a recorded session, perhaps you may not connect with as much as you do in a live session. It's the same way you need some form of connection. That is why you need a murti or a photograph. There was a story about this when a king insulted a saint. saying that you pray to the murtis and the photographs. So the saint asked to get the photograph of the king, and he put his foot on it. The king got really offended. How dare you? Then he said, you're not that photograph. How come you're getting offended? So which means that we do connect with the photograph or the statue. So there is a reason for that. It's just that we need to explore, and somebody need to explain what the reason is. Because we don't understand the reason behind it, we just take things for granted. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I just wanted to touch on the pranayama. Pranayama again is part of Raja Yoga. We experience meditation today, so I don't want to go into deep aspects of meditation because it will take a long time. I'll just touch briefly on meditation. It's just taking away everything. Imagine the sculpture. He chips away all the unwanted stone or unwanted wood, and what is resulting is this murti, the divine murti of the God. In the same way, when you leave away everything, ignore everything coming from any of the senses and your mind, what is left is you. That is what meditation does to you. It also energizes your inner energy levels, the chakras. Okay, coming to pranayama. Pranayama, I explained briefly, so I won't go into too much detail. There are different various pranayamas. Today, what we did was Bhastrika pranayama, the easiest one to do and follow. Today, we did slightly differently. If some of you have noticed who have done my previous session, today we did 3 cycles of 3 stages of pranayama. One stage where we breathe in and breathe out a bit slowly, and then rigorously, and then much more faster. Okay, so those are the 3 stages. We did 3 cycles. Okay, and then we took a moment to experience what's happening in our body. Some of you may have experienced the bliss, and some of them who attended the previous session has explained that it helped them meditate better. So that is why we do pranayama before meditation. Okay, and there is a lot of Western interest in pranayama. So they have been learning from the East, from India, and then coming up with their own fancy name like neurodynamic breathing. I have attended that neurodynamic breathing from USA. There were close to about 500 participants on that session. And I just found it similar to pranayama. And then all they have done is given a fancy name. Okay, there is extensive research happening in pranayama, and there is already published research in the British Journal of Anesthesia. I won't go into too much detail about what that research article means. I've just placed it there if somebody's interested to go have a look. But what it does is when you do the pranayama, you're taking away the carbon dioxide from your blood. You're taking in a lot more oxygen. Your oxygen saturations are already around 98% for everybody to 100%. So you gain some oxygen saturations, like 98 may become 99 or 100. But if somebody's already got 100, you don't have increase any more oxygen than 100%. But importantly, you get rid of carbon dioxide because our body is working, every cell is working, and it all generates carbon dioxide in our body, and that gives away from our breath. So whenever we're forcefully breathing out, so we're taking a lot more carbon dioxide than our body. So we're prepping our body effectively. We are improving our breathing technique. And as I said, in stage 3, we are using the accessory muscles of our breathing, which means our breathing would be much, much better than any of the volunteers. And in a few months' time, when you're practicing regularly, your breath would be far more effective. Okay. And it has other positive benefits as well. They did EEG. EEG is like, your heart has ECG, electrocardiogram. It gives electrical signals when it beats, okay? The same way when your brain is functioning, when your thought process is going on, it gives electrical signals. It's called ECG, electroencephalography. And then when you are in meditative state and calm state, it goes into theta state rather than it slows. So pranayama has been observed to reduce the activity within your brain, but also enhance the theta state, which is the meditative state. So even just with pranayama, you are getting the benefits equivalent to meditation. And that is why you're already prepped and ready to get into that meditation. It's so easy transition from pranayama to meditation. So that's why I got you to do pranayama. Some of you may have found it slightly difficult. That's absolutely fine. Slowly over a period of time, we will all be comfortable with that. It's just breathing. We breathe normally. We just are doing it slightly more, being self-aware, much more intensely. Okay. So all this parts of yoga. I didn't touch much on yoga, but I'll just be brief in the interest of time. Yoga means union. When what we tend to do is we separate ourselves from the supreme consciousness, and when those two are united and there is no differentiation, you have self-realized, you have become consciousness, you are self-aware of your consciousness, you have become part of the whole consciousness of the world and one with God. That is what yoga is. People usually refer to asanas as yoga. Yes, it is yoga, but it's a part of yoga. There are other parts of yoga, as I said, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga. All these are to generate energies within, remove the negativity and everything, and help you self-realize. And that is what the path to moksha will lead, through the path of dharma. So don't be judgmental about which is the right path. You can all do the Bhakti Yoga. You can wake up early morning, just make a prayer. That is your Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga, whatever job you're doing, do it with wholeheartedly, and do it as service to people, or your colleagues, or your kids, or your spouses, or your parents, or your in-laws, or your friends. Don't expect anything. That is your Karma Yoga. And then Jnana Yoga. If you attend one of these sessions about knowledge sharing, be alert, attentive, and self-aware. Be an observer. Don't just let things imprint, because as I said, intellect is very important. You need to help define your intellect. So you need to be an observer, and slowly your intellect will be shaped, and then it will guide you through your life's journey. And then there is Raj Yoga. So any of the parts, you can mix all these together and do it in a single day as well, even if it's like 5 minutes each. So remember, your body is not you. You are the soul, supreme soul. You're part of the supreme consciousness, supreme God. There's only one God, and we are all part of that. We and God is not different. Me and you are not different. We are all one. Okay. So if you can control you can reshape your intellect through control of your mind over your senses, you are going to be successful in attaining moksha. So be conscious about what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, what you smell. Even if you're going on a regular path, just be self-aware. That is what increases your awareness. Pay attention to every detail. Oh, the trees are budding now. Oh, I can see some beautiful daffodils or any of the flowers. Observe everything. Be observant. Create time and space for yourself, and follow the 4 parts of yoga, and you will attain moksha. So thank you very much, friends. Thank you for joining this session. I know it's a bank holiday, so you've taken great efforts in waking up at 5:30 on a bank holiday and joining the session. Please feel free to share your experiences, or if you have any questions, you can ask. You can also type your questions, and you can ping me directly or just post a message in the group. So that is the end of my session. So I'm just gonna end my screen share, if I can figure out. In the meantime, if somebody would like to share their experiences, please feel free to do so.
Hi, Dheeraj. This is Malika.
Hi, Malika.
Hi. You said Bhakti Yoga is the easiest path.
Mm-hmm.
Then I wonder why you choose to do meditation. Like, why can't we all just follow what we were doing? I think most of us are in the Bhakti Yoga before we start meditation.
That's right.
Yeah, why can't we just continue that instead of coming into meditation if it is the easiest and if it leads us to enlightenment?
Yeah. So what is more important is there is no right or wrong way of doing things. You can choose any of the paths in there and follow that path. So I do Bhakti Yoga as well. I do Raja Yoga as well. So I'm trying to get benefits from every bit of that. So it's a way of your life. So many people may not have been self-aware of what they are trying to achieve when they are doing bhakti. Just becoming self-aware and how much of bhakti yoga do we do? Like very few people get some time to do offer prayers, but are we actually surrendering ourselves? So the key to bhakti yoga is surrendering ourselves, trusting everything and leaving on the fate of God, and then just doing that immense bhakti. That is when you would reap the benefits. It's the way we do bhakti is important. And
So
every
this also takes time, isn't it? To surrender and to do. We have to any path we choose. We have to dedicate to it, and we have to go deep within. Any path will take time. Not only Raj Yoga takes time, but any path. What I suggest, my opinion is just choose a path and go deep within it, and just surrender to that path. Then only we can see the result.
Yeah, but at the same time, what I'm trying to make a point is be self-aware. Don't be judgmental about anything or anybody or any path. Just openly accept.
Of course, it's not being judgmental. It's what works, like how to get enlightenment. That is the thing. We can choose to follow all the paths. But we have to dedicate to one path, one particular path. Otherwise, how can we see the result? Even if you choose Bhakti Yoga, be dedicated to it. Otherwise, we'll be like how we were all these years. We'll be.
I acknowledge what you're saying. That is a way of thinking that, okay, if we just do one thing, we're going to be good at it. Not necessarily so. People can multitask. I multitask in my job. The good example is my moms. All the moms, they multitask. They are not good at one job. They are good at multiple jobs. So what my point is, you can experience every aspect of that path in your daily lives. All it takes is 5 minutes of your time to do each of that. So in 20 minutes, you would have done what you want to achieve. Or if you want to expand that, you can expand that. Or if you want to focus on one part of the path, that is absolutely fine as well. So that is what
we have to, I mean, after experiencing all these 4 paths, definitely whatever is we are interested in, we definitely has to go deeper in it.
Of course, yeah. There is nothing wrong in choosing one path or observing multiple paths.
And whatever path we choose, it definitely takes time. Not all the paths are, I mean, Bhakti, if you choose Bhakti Yoga, you get enlightenment easier. That is not what I believe. Like, definitely you have to dedicate to it, and you have to go deeper with your Bhakti. Otherwise, I mean, we've been doing Bhakti Yoga from, because of Bhakti Yoga, I believe I've been drawn into Raj Yoga. That Bhakti Yoga showed me this path.
So, which is fine. All help each other. All aspects of even the karma, if you're offering service, that helps towards enlightenment. So there is no reason why. I mean, it also depends on personalities. If somebody is really difficult to focus on their mind, they are really disturbed by the thoughts, perhaps for them, just listening to the bhajan and stuff is the easier path to take. People who are able to focus very well and want to lead the path of Raja Yoga, that's absolutely fine as well. So the point I'm making is there are these different paths. Please explore whichever path you want, or if you want to follow all the paths, it's possible as well. and then choose one path if you want to. That's absolutely fine as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else has any questions?
Yes, Dheeraj ji.
Yeah.
Good morning. I have a little bit of a problem in accepting the notion of being vegetarian. And if somebody is doing meditation, but then this thought keeps on coming to your mind that, they're saying that you need to be vegetarian. There is duality in this, and I'm a little concerned about this concept.
Okay, that is a very good question. Let me stop screen share, yeah, and then I can you see me all okay now? Yeah. Okay, great. So that is a fantastic question. The question is about vegetarian, non-vegetarianism, leading to a bit of confusion as to what the right path is.
Yeah.
There is a path of vegetarianism if you are able to follow, well and fine. But if being a non-vegetarian, you're still able to follow all the parts of Bhakti Yoga or some of the parts of Bhakti Yoga, do it. You don't have to turn vegetarian overnight. Perhaps getting involved with the process without the feeling of guilt. I don't want you to have the feeling of guilt that you're having non-vegetarian. Yes, be self-aware that there is some animal harm being caused with that. That is different, but don't feel guilty and distract yourself from the path of divinity. Follow your path. At some point, perhaps you will reduce the amount of non-veg you eat, or maybe over a period of time, your intellect will define yourself and then allow you to become vegetarian. So follow that path. And as I said, I mean, this is a cycle of karma. So if not this life, you have another life to come back to. And maybe you would be much more, you would be born vegetarian, or you would be born in a vegetarian family. You never know. So don't stress about it. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. Let your intellect guide you.
Okay, because I've been watching Patriji's clips on YouTube. And he often emphasizes that you must not eat meat, because if you do that, you're falling down to, or you'll be treated the same way as those animals would be treated when you consume meat. Now,
he has a point. If you see from a spiritual point of view, Patriji or anybody who's advocating vegetarianism have a point. Because the whole idea of vegetarianism comes from the philosophy of ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-cruelty, non-violence. So, as you know, for the meat to be on the plate, we just see the meat aspect of it, but we don't go back. If we go step back, the butcher would have, killed the animal, taken the, chopped the limbs off. And then when we see the prepped meat and it tastes good, it's so easy, tempting to just focus on the taste and probably the proteinaceous element of it. But when we take a step back, where did it come from? Not just from the freezer, from the supermarket, like your vegetable comes, but there is a process. So when we become self-aware of that process, perhaps you may realize that, okay, I will reduce it, or I will use meat alternatives. The fantastic, there are fantastic options available about meat alternatives, which are not based from animal products, but they taste like the same. They have a high protein content. So it's just making that mild lifestyle choice.
Okay.
Hope that
Thank you
answers
so
your
much.
question. Yeah,
it has. Thank you.
Can I add something to Dheeraj ji?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, Pamji, actually what Patriji experienced is he experienced oneness, which is he saw same consciousness in all the living beings, even in humans, animals, it's the same consciousness. So when we treat other beings as the same soul, same part of the
Mhm.
soul. He that's why he promotes vegetarian. He doesn't want them to be killed. And also he has seen the karma that does after we eat that meat, after we kill that animal, we carry some baggage. So that's his point of view I'm explaining. So we carry that baggage, and we have to cleanse that karma. We have to do some good deeds in order to cleanse that.
I'll give
So,
you an example of myself. Okay, I was born into a vegetarian family, but going through medical school, I've tried non-vegetarian. Even while I'm in UK, I tried non-vegetarian, and but then I made a resolve that okay, I'm going to give it a try, being a vegetarian, and I started meditation, and then involving in other parts of Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and all the parts of yoga. I'm trying to experience a lifestyle. And then slowly, I think perhaps it's probably my intellect or which has reshaped, I guess, perhaps, I don't know. It's really difficult to define, but I'm very self-aware of what I eat. I haven't eaten meat in months now. I haven't even just there's a pint of beer which is sitting in my fridge for months. I haven't touched it. It is there, it is chilled, and it's so tempting. Normally when I'm like had a bad day at work, just want to come back home, watch a movie, get something, okay, I think that okay, this is going to relax me. But now since I've explored this yoga, it's slightly different in that I'm much more able to cope with the work stress, much more able to make, choices in my life about what I hear, what I accept, what I do not accept. So yes, be aware that Patriji or any of the spiritual masters, they always advise to be vegetarian because we, as I said earlier, we all have the same soul. We all have the same part of the same supreme energy. So without going into too much detail, all I'm going to advise you is the easier, because then you need a practical path. The practical path for you is, for the moment you're eating non-vegetarian, don't feel too much guilty about it and spoil your spiritual journey. Carry on with your spiritual journey and slowly allow your intellect to guide you what you should do. Maybe perhaps you would find, reduce the amount of meat. Maybe you'll go and find meat alternatives. Maybe, and then you become vegetarian. Maybe, you never know. So good luck with your journey.
Thank you. It's just the concept, like, there's eggs in biscuits, cakes.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line? I mean, are you supposed to abstain from it completely on this path?
Being vegetarian in this country is not easy, but also not impossible. I've been trying. I tried to do slightly extreme. I tried to go vegan. And the reason I tried to go vegan was because I realized that unlike in India, when the calves are born to the cows here, they kill the calf so that they can have the milk for themselves. And that is the whole idea behind many Westerners going vegan. So the concept of vegan is not relevant in India, because we don't kill the calf just to take away the milk. We give the calf the milk it needs, and then we take the extra milk. But here in this country, in Western country, they kill the calf. And people thought, that is unimaginably cruel to kill a calf. And that is why they started becoming vegan. They started becoming vegan to stop cruelty against animals. And that is the same philosophy which is stemming from religion. So it sounds posh to be vegan, but not so posh to be vegetarian. Sorry to put it that way, but I hope you get my point.
I do. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Anybody else want to share any experience or any questions? I'm just going to check on the chat box. Okay. Good comment from Jeshri. let us take our own time and decide how far we go. That is exactly my point. Experience every aspect of spirituality, and your intellect will guide you. It will take you to the right path. And then if you're not successful in this life, don't worry, you are going to be reborn anyway. So you'd be reborn in a better position. You will start from there. So everything's under control. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Dheeraj, and thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
You too.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you so much, Dheeraj. Have a
My
nice day.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Dheeraj. Thank you.
My
Thanks
pleasure.
for sharing your wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you. A copy of this video, I presume, would be on YouTube if people would like to watch and go through again. I will shortly be ending the session. Have a good day.